All power to the people. I said the P is the power, the A for action, the NT, because now is the time to get it done. See, the H is for heart and the E for effect. The all for the Janet, the N for respect. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Reach your hands in the air. Feel like me. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Reach your hands in the air. Feel like me.
You see the pride of the panther as he glows in splendor and grace, toppling obstacle in place, the wave expression of grace. And you see the pride of the panther as she nurtures her young all alone. He must grow regardless of the fact his plant is growing. Can't you see the pride of the panthers in the unified
Mama, you can hear me?
flower bloom?
Yeah.
Really, never
Yo, kindly blowing up my phone, bro.
outshines,
You gonna call her?
shines out.
No.
Huh?
So,
Mm-mm.
like the sun,
Nah, she blowing up my phone.
like the sun.
For action, the NT, because now is the time to get it done. See, the H is for heart and the E for effect. The all for the Janet, the N for respect. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Reach your hands in the air. Feel like me. Who am I, a panther? Who am I, a panther? What I got soul. What I got love. What I got pride. What I wanna be free. Reach your hands in the air if you feel like me.
Song is dedicated to all those who live and die for the struggle. Panthers, children of the Panthers, and all those who strive for free minds, free souls, free bodies, and free love and love. Love. Love is the engine to the revolution.
All power to the people. Welcome to Bobby Hutton Political Education course. Today is week 6. Let me see if I move this over a little bit. Welcome to Bobby Hutton Political Education course. Each week, students will be assigned readings and videos to study and will convene once a week to discuss the material, interpret and break down the core concepts, questions and answers, and to prepare for next week's study material. Remember that taking notes can be beneficial, even audio ones, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We're all in this together. Each week, you're encouraged to bring the following: quotes from the material, questions you have, your interpretation of the material, core concept, revolutionary spirit. The first duty of a revolutionary is to be educated. To be a Panther, we must understand our history, our political line, strategies to overthrow our oppressors. Upon completion of the political education program, graduates will become members of UPM, receive recognition, and be encouraged to begin organizing in their local communities. Comrades, our studies this week will focus on basic discussion on historical dialectic materialism and revolutionary intercommunalism. Who iPhone 13? Just so I know, they left already.
That's me, nigga.
Oh. Hey, yo, you got to put your name on it. Why you keep dropping off? And then you went back off screen. Come back on screen, bro. Hey, yo, Jack, yo, you a savage, B. That's me, nigga. Pantherism, revolutionary intercommunalism, is based on the revolutionary science of dialectic materialism, first developed by Karl Marx and further developed by Vladimir Lenin, Mao Zedong, and others, including Huey P. Newton, the co-founder of the original Black Panther Party in 1966. we gotta understand what we're talking about when we say dialectic materialism. I mean, so please focus on that. That might be on the test. So please focus on that to understand what these terms are. Excuse me, I'm gonna explain them as I continue to read. When applied to the study of human social evolution, it is called historical dialectical materialism. It stands opposed to metaphysical idealism, which has been the dominant way people have taught and tried to explain the world since ancient times. So they're saying dialectic materialism is separate from metaphysical idealism. But what is metaphysical idealism? Like I really need people to know this stuff. I mean, it's important. Oh, just drop the mirror. Hey yo, just drop the light. Hey yo, Queen, I'm not trying to put you on the spot. You hear me, Queen? So Queen, you hear me?
I took a second to unmute my phone. I heard you.
All right, so look, I'm not putting you on the spot. But do you understand what they mean by where is it at? Metaphysical idealism? You heard me, Quinn? Yeah, I'm gonna try something new this week. I'm gonna try to like get people involved.
My bad. I'm trying to figure out how to work it. I apologize.
Oh, okay. You back? You here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you understand what metaphysical idealism is?
Metaphysical idealism?
Yeah.
No, I got but if I don't understand
No.
something,
No. It's cool. It's cool. Hey, yo, look, I'm using you as a curveball. Instead of me just talking all day, I want to talk to people on the screen. Yo, there's nothing wrong with that knowing it. I had to look it up myself, you dig? But metaphysical idealism is just a fancy way of saying religion. Religion. You heard me?
Mm-hmm.
Like having faith, like believing in God and all that stuff. That's metaphysical idealism. Dialectic materialism is studying, scientific. I mean, I'm explaining that because people are saying it's not what I'm going through is not clear enough. That's why I'm using you as a curveball. You feel me? Just rock with me. You my co-host right now.
I'm here.
When applied to the study of human social evolution, it is called historical dialectic materialism. It stands opposed to metaphysical idealism, which has been the dominant way people have taught and tried to explain the world since ancient time. So going all the way back to ancient time, the majority of the world understand reality through religion. They believe everything through religion, just like now. I think 90% of the people in America belong to a religion. But that's what they're explaining right there. All religions are based on this sort of thinking. Taken to its logical conclusion, you will believe nothing. Wait, wait, did I skip something? Explain the world. Seems like I skipped some. But anyway, all religions are based on this sort of thinking. Taken to its logical conclusion, you will believe nothing exists outside your own brain and everything is an illusion. And they will lock you up as hopelessly insane. Materialism, on the other hand, assert that reality really does exist, independent of how we think about it. And it existed before there were any humans to think about it. So reality existed, like the ground, the sand, things out there already existed before any human being even thought of them. These things were already here. Everything exists as matter and energy. It's matter in motion. But let me read that again. And it existed before there were any humans to think about it. Everything exists as matter and energy is matter in motion. Okay, there we go. Energy is matter in motion. Everything is in motion and everything is changing all the time. Dialectics is the study of matter in motion and asserts everything exists as a unity of opposite that are in contradiction and struggle, with things transforming into their opposites when the primary aspect is overcome by the secondary aspect. We'll get deeper into that. But right now, it is important to see that this way of thinking is revolutionary and will overthrow the outmoded and incorrect view that has dominated people's thinking in the past, basically using science, thinking from a scientific perspective, not guessing, not hoping, not going how you feel, but using a strategy where you get to study and understand whatever that you're dealing with instead of just going off blind faith. Karl Marx develops the scientific method of analysis, which came to be called dialectical materialism by those who came after him. As an analytical tool, DM provides a method for understanding the laws of material existence and for changing material conditions by acting within these laws. I'm going to go back again on that because it's important we understand this. As an analytical tool, DM provides a method of understanding the laws of material existence. Understanding the laws, because everything has laws, everything functions based on laws, and for changing material condition by acting within these laws. Let me see how to when I was trying to get the kids into school, there was a period where when I was working with the children in the community, we tried to keep all of them together and send them all through the same school, through the system, because we couldn't have the kids spread around the whole city. We wouldn't be able to work with them. It would be almost impossible. So we tried to keep the kids together and try to move them along through the school system together as we was working with them every day when they came from school. When they started this charter school thing, the charter school movement, they broke all the kids up and they sent all the kids to different schools in the city. So I'm like, yo, why would you send a kid that live in the central ward all the way to the south, to the east, or whatever to school? Yo, that makes no sense. What they were doing made no sense. So because what they were doing was man-made laws. They had created man-made laws that were different from gravity. Gravity is scientific. Gravity is real. No matter what you do, gravity is real. But these laws, these ideas, these things that people write on pieces of paper, these are just laws that they put together and they could be broken. Unlike gravity, you can't break the laws of gravity. If you jump outside the window, you're going to fall on your neck. You're going to break your neck. You're going to break something. You're going to die. I mean, that's how gravity works. There's no change in that law. But when you write laws and when you put in laws by school superintendents, by school board members, those laws can be broken. So you know what I did? I had to devise a way to get those kids into school. So I made them explain to the people at the council meeting, at the board, whenever the people that refused the kids to go to the school, that sent them all around the city, I made them explain that. At the end of the day, they didn't want to explain it. They didn't want to have to confront these parents. So what they do, they let the kids into the school because their laws are not scientific. Their laws are BS made by man. Any law made by man can be broken. As an historical materialism is the application of DM to the study and the understanding of social development and history. Marx understood that the brain, the very medium of our thoughts and ideas, is itself a material construct. Remember, the brain, everything that you know in your mind, everything that you inside your mind, it's a construct. You have to understand that all that you have in your mind before you re-educate yourself and start over. And even when you re-educate yourself, depending on where your sources are, you could be doing even worse harm if you don't understand how to search out those sources and go to the direct source where you could get accurate information. I mean, you could just be going around in circles. But be that as it may, but like in your brain itself, it's a social construct. It's can be socially constructed, meaning, like I'm speaking English right now. My parents are African. I grew up in Africa when I was little. I mean, I should be speaking an African dialect. But if you go to school in the United States of America, from kindergarten all the way up to high school, graduate, college, all that, you have to speak English. So they made my brain. They rewired my brain for me to speak English. So now, even though I'm African, my father African, my mother, everybody, my family African, I'm speaking English because my brain has been socially constructed to know English and to use that as the medium of communication. It is a material construct. It grows and develops with and as a result of material conditions without which it would cease to be and could not generate thought. That's what they're telling you. without the input, the stuff to go inside your brain, your mind, for you to be able to bring it back out, yo, you would cease to exist, man. You wouldn't even know how to. Anyway, purge of metaphysical influences, dialectics regards nature as a connected and unified whole, as a combination of organically bound phenomena that are interdependent and affect each other's development. Therefore, no activity in nature can be understood if it is not isolated from surrounding phenomena. I hope y'all get that. I don't want to stop to break everything down. And if you don't, please say something. Put it in the group chat. Metaphysics teaches that nature exists in an absolute and unchanging state. You're talking about religion. That's what religion teaches. Metaphysics. When you see metaphysics, they're talking about religion. The dialectical method teaches that nature remains in a state of constant change, development, and renewal. This can be seen through scientific and even general studies of nature and natural processes. Nothing remains the same. The philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The point, however, is to change it. Hereto, whatever, men have constantly made up for themselves false conceptions about themselves. Like from the beginning of history. That's what that means. I ain't going through all of that. Go ahead, try it, General Secretary. What'd that say?
Where I'm starting, the second paragraph?
Yeah, that word right there, yeah.
Oh, hitherto.
Yeah, hitherto. Like from the beginning of history. I may not know how to say the word. I may not be able to roll my tongue, but I know what it means, damn it. From the beginning of history, men have constantly made up for themselves false conceptions about themselves, about what they are and what they ought to be. They have arranged their relationship according to their ideas of God, of normal man, etc. The phantoms of their brains have gotten out of their hands. They, the creators, have bowed down before their creations. He's saying like religion is created by man. These are all ideas that were put here by man, but now we have bowed down to our own ideas. One has to leave philosophy aside. One has to leap out of it and devote oneself like an ordinary man to the study of actuality, for which there exists also an enormous amount of literary material, unknown, of course, to the philosophers. The question whether objective truth can be attributed to human thinking is not a question of theory, but it's a practical question. Man must prove the truth, i.e., the reality and power, the decidedness of his thinking in practice. The dispute over the reality or non-reality of thinking, which is isolated from practice, is a purely scholastic question. Karl Marx. You think I should go over that, P? Keep going. You think I should go over that?
Yeah, you should go over that.
The question whether objective truth, like the truth, objective truth, like this is the truth, like there's no denying it. The question whether objective truth can be attributed to human thinking is not a question of theory, but it's a practical question. Whether we can think, whether we can be able to look at stuff and be able to make a decision and be able to see it sincerely and openly. Yo, that is a practical question. It's a real question. It's not just one of theory, like where you just guessing it or whatever, because you see it every day. You see people every day lying. I know for me, when I watch politics, when I watch the news, I understand what they're talking about. I've done my research, and I know they've done their research, but they'll get on that screen and they'll lie. They'll tell you America is a democracy when everybody in the world knows America is not a democracy, it's an oligarchy. But they will sit there and lie and tell you America is a democracy, say it over and over. Every time you see them, they'll say it over and over and over and over. They have the ability to tell the truth. They're just not trying to tell you the truth because they're paid not to tell the truth. So it's not a theory whether people can be real or not. People can be real, but depending on incentive motives, depending on who's paying them, how much they're paying them, they'll act like they don't know what the truth is. Um, Man must prove the truth, i.e., the reality and power, the dishonestness of his thinking in practice, the dispute over reality or non-reality of thinking, which is isolated from practice, is purely scholastic question. If you can prove it, if you can prove on what you call it reality, whether it's real or whether it's not, then you're just talking. It's just a scholastic thing where you're just going back and forth talking. You're not really trying to do nothing practical to change the material conditions on the ground. You're just talking. Because it can be proven. Anything can be proven whether it's real or not. You just choose not to prove it. That's the best I could do right now, General Secretary. I tried. But dialectic doesn't merely see things in a state of motion where there is only increase or decrease in quantity without fundamental changes in quality. This means that phenomena moves and develops not in straight lines, but in spirals. These qualitative and overlapping changes are seen as leaps. An example of change from quantity to quality can be seen in how all matter changes in quality according to quantity of temperature from gas to liquid to solid. Without proper analysis of material conditions and their internal and external contradictions, it is impossible to develop a proper understanding of them. Without being real, without studying, without knowing the thing, without knowing both sides, without knowing what's going on, it's hard to really know what's going on. If you walk, like I said this, I think last week, if you walk into the baseball game, it's the seventh inning. You have no idea what happened before that. You got to go look and see. You got to go look at the box score and see what's been going on. See how long that pitcher been in. That pitcher been in the whole game. How many strikes are they throwing? If you don't understand all of that, I'm just talking about from a sports perspective. If you don't understand all of that, like you're not going to know how to go forward. You're going to be going blindly. In order to really know an object, we must embrace, study all its sides, all connections and mediations. We never achieve this completely, but the demand for all-sidedness is a safeguard against mistakes and what did I just do? Against mistakes and rigidity. No, like what he's saying is, as Panthers, we don't just take nothing at face value. I mean, when somebody says something, you got to do your investigation. Like we say, we believe in ideological struggle. As Panthers, we believe in ideological struggle. I may be the chairman, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So if you bring evidence and you present evidence to the rest of the to the rest of the party, that whatever I said is wrong, we have to take it into account. We have to listen to it, and we have to move depending on how strong the evidence you brought is. It don't just go because I'm the chairman, my word just carries. Nah, we gotta make sure we investigate and do the work to show that what I'm saying is what we should be doing. Nobody here is God. Nobody here is a king or any of that. I mean, I'm just giving that example. But with everything that we're doing, you must study. You must on the both sides look at both sides of the equation. That's it, Patience?
No, go back to this is the speech.
Oh, this is the speech. So click it.
Click it, but look, read the slide. It starts at now I will give you rough. I'm coming. Click on it.
Put in the search, you're not gonna find it.
Nah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, do what you're doing. But basically, what this one was really about, what this class was about, was really about dialectic materialism and metaphysical idealism. And so on the test, that's what's going to really be on there. So you really have to understand what dialectic materialism is. When we get off, you could, if I'm not explaining it good enough, you could always Google it and look it up for yourself. But the simple way to look at it is dialectic materialism is just scientific, using scientific evidence to reach your analysis. And metaphysical idealism is using religion, or whatever you learned in religion, whatever to make your analysis. That's basically the answer to that question if you see it on the test. And that's what this chapter was about. And I'm about to read this speech right here from UEP, and he's talking about the same thing. And basically, that's it. We're gonna go into a Roland Martin clip where you could see the same thing. The same thing is going on. But what's the problem? You see how this is over here? I only wanted it over there.
Yeah, but I can't do that.
Yeah. Let's try it here.
Okay. Can you
I got it. You want to go? You want to go?
Go ahead. You can go.
All right, now I will give you roughly some characteristics that any people who call themselves a nation should have. These are economic independence, cultural determination, control of the political institutions, territorial integrity, and safety. So like this is European New, and this is a speech he gave. He said, now I will give you roughly some characteristics that any people who call themselves a nation should have. And he went and named economics, cultural, control of political institutions, territorial integrity. He said these are the things you must have if you want to say that you're you're a nation. In 1966, we called our party a Black Nationalist Party. Now remember, this is Huey P. Newton, the founder, one of the founders of our party. In 1966, we called our party a Black Nationalist Party. We called ourselves Black Nationalists because we taught that nationhood was the answer. Shortly after that, we decided that what was really needed was revolutionary nationalism. First of all, let me explain what do you mean nationalism. So black people. So if you say a black person's a nationalist, their politics is only black. Period. They only care about black people. What's going on with black people? Black nationalism. That's what That's what they're talking about when they say nationalism. Like you could say nationalism and mean like the whole of America. So nationalism just mean that group of people that share something, whatever, together. So he's saying when they first started out, they called themselves nationalists. We're gonna go on. You're gonna see what happens. That is nationalism plus socialism. After analyzing conditions a little more, we found that it was impractical and even contradictory. Therefore, we went to a higher level of consciousness. We saw that in order to be free, we had to crush the ruling circle, and therefore we had to unite with the people of the world. So we called ourselves internationalists. We sought solidarity with the people of the world. We sought solidarity with what we thought were the nations of the world. But then what happened? We found that because everything is in a constant state of transformation, everything we just read about, because of the development of technology, because of the development of the mass media, because of the power of the imperialists, and because of the fact that the United States is no longer a nation, but an empire. Nations could not exist, for they do not have the criteria for nationhood. Their self-determination, economic determination, and cultural determination has been transferred by the imperialists and the ruling circle. They were no longer nations. We found that in order to be internationalists, we had to be also nationalists, or at least acknowledge nationhood. Internationalism, if I understood the word, means the interrelationship among a group of nations. But since no nation exists, and since the United States is in fact an empire, it is impossible for us to be internationalists. I hope you're following. There's no nation here. Because everything in America is controlled by corporations, capitalists, the rich. There are no nations anywhere else. There's no nation anywhere else around the world. No matter where you point at on the globe, everything is controlled by corporations and imperialists and oligarchs. Nothing is controlled by the nation, by the people. That's what he's saying right here. Like there are no nations. This is in the 70s when he wrote this, late 60s, I think 70s, early 70s. These transformation and phenomena require us to call ourselves intercommunalists because nations have been transformed into communities of the world. The Black Panther Party now disclaims internationalism and supports intercommunalism. Hey, I live in Newark, New Jersey. The people that live in Morristown, Morris County, wherever, all the rich suburbs in New Jersey, they don't see the world the way I see it. They don't go through the issues that we go through. We live in by and large, in the class-based system. So we are not, like, they're not part of my nation. Even if they're black, even if they look like me, they're not part of my nation. Because their loyalty is to the corporations. It is not to us, to the people. I mean, and that's what he's trying to explain. So there's no nations. They're only communities. So the community that I'm part of, that I'm in, that I live in, is Newark, New Jersey. This is my community. This is my home. So if I'm organizing here and we talking about intercommunalism, Comrade Jack that's on here, he lives in a different part. He's in Plainfield. So I've started the Panther organization here. We're here. Now I didn't start it, but we're part of the Panther organization in Newark, New Jersey, and we're doing work in Newark, New Jersey. Jack is doing work in Plainfield, New Jersey. Great work. Great work. I'm not even going to go into all of that, but he know how much respect I have for him and the work he do. But he's doing great work in Plainfield. So now his community and my community, we combine that. That's what he mean by intercommunalism. Working community to community. Marx and Lenin felt with the information they had that when the non-state finally came to be a reality, it would be caused or ushered in by the people and by communism. A strange thing happened. The ruling reactionary circle, through the consequence of being imperialist, transformed the world into what we call reactionary intercommunalism. They laid siege upon all the communities of the world, dominating the institutions to such an extent that the people were not served by the institutions in their own land. The Black Panther Party would like to reverse that trend and lead the people of the world into the age of revolutionary intercommunalism. This will be the time when the people seize the means of production and distribute the wealth and technology in an egalitarian way to the many communities of the world. I'm gonna stop here. This is why I wanted to read it, General Secretary. When I was going through it earlier, I was like, I'm gonna be telling her to stop every few minutes.
I hear you.
You said what?
I said I hear you.
Yeah. So let's see. Like in Newark, New Jersey, we're dealing with gentrification, the highest levels of gentrification across the country. 29%, only 29% of the homes in Newark, New Jersey are owned by the people that live there. So the rest of the 71%, people are living, paying rent. It's not because people don't want houses. It's because this is how the system has been designed for it to work. So now it has people paying rent, 25, 3,000, 1,500, 2,000. Like they have all this rent that people are paying can be used or was used to afford homes in prior generations. But now people out here paying $2,500. We're paying over $2,000 in rent. So we paying rent instead of going to go get a home because the politicians have created that reality through policies. These is laws that they made. So how do we change that? How do we fight back? Do you go down to City Hall and tell the same politicians to change the law? Do you go to the landlord and tell the landlord don't raise the rent? Don't. The only way that the new African Black Panther Party has seen to solve this issue is by the people coming together, organizing themselves to start to buy up the homes in the communities. Yo, I may not be able to do it by myself, but 2, 3 of us can buy a 2, 3, 4, 5 family house, go buy an apartment building, depending how many of us is it. Now it belongs to us as a cooperative, and we're renting those buildings out to ourselves. Are we going to sell those buildings to corporations and make ourselves homeless? No, I don't think so. I doubt it. I doubt we're gonna. You know what? Wait, what's his name, man? Who up here? Who up here? Peso, you still here? Who up here? Who I'm calling on? Yo, Peso doing horrible. Hey, Captain Patience, you there?
Tom,
You said what?
you said something.
Yeah, I asked Peso was still there.
Oh, Captain Patience.
Peso.
Peso's in the
Peso.
chat.
You said what?
Peso said he here.
Oh,
He's
who
in the
said that? Who
chat.
just said that?
That was Quinn.
Oh, okay. I know what. I'm Captain Patience. You there, Captain Patience?
Yeah, I'm listening.
Now you heard what I just said, right? So like, if the what you call it? If we join together and we all put our money together and we buy the buildings in the community, would you sell the buildings so you could be homeless?
No.
Like, it makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see any other way? Anybody that's here, do you see any other way to solve the gentrification problem in our community? Do you know any politicians? Do you know any rich people? Anybody that's gonna come do anything? I don't. I don't. So as an organization, since nobody's coming to save us, we must start to do the saving ourselves. We must pull our resources together. And yes, we got the bread. And yes, we do pay taxes. This government is supposed to take care of our needs because we pay taxes into the government. Everybody pay taxes. You go to the store and buy anything, you pay tax. Anything you do, you pay taxes. The government is supposed to use our tax dollars to make sure we all good. But you know they won't. I know they won't. So we have to pool our resources and understand we're living under imperialism to be able to put these things in the community to serve us. It's really that simple. That's what we believe. Now, if somebody thinks like, nah, they got a better idea, yo, pull up. Come tell us. This is not about ego. If somebody has a better idea, yo, we'll run with it. Let's see where that go. Remember, ideological struggle. We see very little difference in what happens to a community here in North America and what happens to a community in Vietnam. We see very little difference in what happens even culturally to a Chinese community in San Francisco and a Chinese community in Hong Kong. We see very little difference in what happens to a black community in Harlem and a black community in South Africa, a black community in Angola and one in Mozambique. We see very little differences. So what has actually happened is that the non-state has already been accomplished, but it is reactionary. A community, by way of definition, is a comprehensive collection of institutions that serve the people who live there. It differs from a nation because a community evolves around a greater structure that we usually call the state. And down. And the state has certain control over the community if the administration represents the people or if the administration happens to be the people's commissar. It is not so at this time. So there's still something to be done. I mentioned earlier the negation of the negation. I mentioned earlier the necessity for the redistribution of wealth. We think that it is very important to know that as things are in the world today, socialism in the United States will never exist. Why? It would not exist because it cannot exist. It can it cannot at this time exist any place in the world. Socialism will require a socialist state. And if a state does not exist, how could socialism exist? So how do we define certain progressive countries such as the People's Republic of China? Remember, this is in the 70s. How do we describe certain progressive countries or communities, as we call them, as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea? These are all communist countries that had won their liberation from imperialism. How do we define certain communities such as North Vietnam and the provincial government in the South? How do we explain these communities if in fact they too cannot claim nationhood? We say this. We say they represent the people's liberated territory. They represent a community liberated. But that community is not sufficient. It is not satisfied, just as the National Liberation Front is not satisfied with the liberated territory in the South. It is only the groundwork and the preparation for the liberation of the world, seizing the wealth from the ruling circle. Equal distribution and proportional representation in an intercommunal framework. This is what the Black Panther Party would like to achieve with the help of the power of the people, because without the people, nothing can be achieved. Okay, so in our organization, right now we're trying to get into a business endeavor with the entire organization. Everybody that passed the test, that's part of the party, we're paying dues, we're doing all of this, we're trying to come up with something. Every single person in the party is a board member. Every person that's invested in what we're doing is a board member. We split everything down the middle. Our organization is a socialist one. It's a socialist one. We split we split the means of production right down the middle. Everybody get a piece of the pie. Everybody's a board member. And what Huey P is explaining right here, that's not how it works in these nations, in these countries. It doesn't work like that. The means of production is not split equally. It's not split through the people. And as Panthers, this is our political philosophy. Like, I'm not going to be the boss and I'm making like 30 times, 40 times, 50, 100 times what the people that's working with me are making. And they're doing all the work. That's capitalism. We don't do that. So we get an organization and we have a business, we have somebody that's working there all day. They work and they come in, they open the store up. They come Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. They open the store up. And at the end of the month, when we do all we balance the book and we see how much money we made, because I'm the chairman, I take home 90%. And then the person that was working all day, they get like 2%. That's crazy. That's theft. You're stealing. You're a crook. I mean, you can't go around talking about you gave people a job. You're exploiting people. That's not how this works. So we decide as a board who gets paid what. We talk about it. We have meetings. 90% of what we do here is all about meetings. We have meetings and we have this conversation and we decide what happens with what. And if somebody disagrees, you don't want to be part of that kind of a thing. You want somebody that say they're the chairman, they're the ruler, the CEO. You want them to make all the money, go find another group. That's not what we're trying to do. We're not casting the net to find you. Because you're not the person that we need to move this intercommunalism forward. In 1917, when the revolution occurred, there could be a redistribution of wealth on a national level because nations existed. Now, if you talk in terms of planning an economy on a worldwide level, on an intercommunal level, you are saying something important, that the people have been ripped off, like I said, stolen from, ripped off very much like one country is being ripped off. Simple reparation is not enough because the people have not only been robbed of their raw material, but of the wealth accrued from the investment of those materials, an investment which has created the technological machine. The people of the world will have to have control, not a limited share of control for X amount of time, but total control forever. That's where we coming from as Panthers. The people got to control the means of productions forever. This is not a negotiation. We're not negotiating with nobody on anything. We come together, we put these institutions in the community, we put these businesses in the community. We share this thing amongst us. We ain't sharing it with nobody else. It's not up for debate. This ain't nothing to talk about. If you're not with us, if you're not working, if you don't believe in socialism, believe in being a human being, we not here to. I'm not here to work with you. We not here to work with you. Pantheism is not here to work with you, because we believe in socialism. That is our philosophy. In order to plan a real intercommunal economy, we will have to acknowledge how the world is hooked up. We will also have to acknowledge that nations have not existed for some time. Some people will argue that nations still exist because of cultural differences. By way of definition, just for practical argument, culture is a collection of learned patterns of behavior. Here in the United States, black people, Africans, were raped from the mother country. What wait, was it? I guess raped from the mother country, and consequently, we have literally lost most of our African values. Perhaps we still hold on to. We still hold on to some surviving Africanism, but by and large, you can see the transformation which was achieved by time and highly technological society, whose tremendous mass media functions as an introduction or the introduction indoctrination, my bad, y'all, indoctrination center. The ruling circle has launched satellites in order to project a beam across the earth and indoctrinate the world. And while there might be some cultural differences, these differences are not qualitative but quantitative. In other words, if technology and the ruling circle go on as they are now, the people of the world will be conditioned to adopt Western values. And that's what Frantz Fanon said in Black Skin, White Mask. Frantz Fanon. If you're here in this class, you have to read people like Frantz Fanon. Black Skin, White Mask. He said the black man has no hope but to be white, and that's what he's talking about, right? This is what he read Frantz Fanon too. Huey P. studied Frantz Fanon. These differences are not qualitative but quantitative. In other words, if technology and the ruling circle go on as they are now, the people of the world will be conditioned to adopt Western values which are white. Those are European values. The people of the world, like even if you go to Africa, they got the Franco states, whatever, the Franco countries, like they speak French. Well, they're changing it now. Some of them are changing it. Like their primary language is French. Like you go to some places in Africa, their primary language is English. Because the Western countries, Europeans, have taken over their nation, which means they don't have a nation no more. And it's so bad that you speak in somebody else's language. And when you start to speak somebody else's language, you lost. You lost. The differences between people are getting very small. But again, that is in the interest of the ruling circle. I do not believe that history can be backtracked. If the world is really that interconnected, then we have to acknowledge that and say that in order for the people to be free, they will have to control the institutions of their community. Bang, bang, right there. They will have to control the institutions in their community. That's why we have a food program. That's why we have an after-school program. That's why everything that we do in the housing program, we're trying to build our own institutions in the community, inside the community. It's right here. They will have to control the institutions of their community. You'll not go down to City Hall and try to take over their stuff. That's not what we're talking about. You have to control your own institution. You can't control City Hall. Their City Hall is their City Hall. That's imperialism. That's going there, marching there, begging them to make your life easier when their purpose for being there is to make your life the way it is. Shows your naivete, your naiveness about the government, the world that you live in. We're not going over there to ask them for nothing. We have to build our own. So right now, it's a few of us here. So we get big enough where it's like 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 of us that we could have our own city hall. You don't need them. Wherever we are at, that's city hall. That's the movement we're looking towards the building. We don't go to their stuff for anything. We understand we're on the plantation, and we got to live on the plantation. We get up every day, we all got to live on plantation. But what goddamn what we doing over here is building institutions where our children or even us we never have to go over there to go beg them for anything. That's what we're doing here. And have some form of representation in the technological center that they have produced. The United States, in order to correct its robbery of the world, will have to first return much of which it has stolen. I don't see how we can talk about socialism when the problem is world distribution. I think this is what Marx meant when he talked about non-state and even reparations. Like you heard what they said a few lines ago. There's no way you could give back reparations. You can't give back that technological advancement. You can't give back everything that people have worked to build that was stolen, the years of labor, the blood, sweat. You can't give none of that back. And then even if you do give money, you give people money. Like let's say all black people get money, get reparations. Where are you spending that money at? You're spending it right back into their institutions. And they're taking that money. So in a few years, all that reparation that people got, they're gonna take it right back. You want to build a house, you got to go to them. You want to put it in the bank, you got to go to them. You want to invest it, you got to go to them. They'll write laws and do whatever they do to take that money right back. How I know that? Because that's what they've always done. That's what they've always done. And if you still at the day where you don't understand this is how these people function, then you're naive. If you think you can negotiate with politicians, you're naive. If you think you're gonna like slick talk them, out talk them, you're naive. Because by and large, we have no institutional memory. They do. They have institutional memory. They've been in power, they've been in charge for hundreds of years. These imperialists we're talking about, the people that fund these politicians have been having money forever. They got generation after generation after generation of money. Like people like Elon Musk. You think this dude just woke up one day and became rich? These people got bread. Their parents had bread. Their parents. These people own diamond mines. Excuse me. In Africa, his parents own diamond mines. Like you're not competing with them. The only way we compete with them is we organize together and we fight them together. Because let me see Elon Musk come down here and try to doge somebody's house down here that we don't put together as Panthers. Come down here and try that goofy stuff down here after we don't put our stuff together. And come try to take it. But trying to say you're going to take over City Hall, you're going for reparations, you're just politically naive. You don't understand what's going on. I was at the Ellis Haley house some time ago, and he talked to me about his search for his past. He found it in Africa, but when he returned there shortly afterward, he was in a state of panic. His village hadn't changed very much, but when he went there, he saw an old man walking down the road, holding something that he cherished to his car. To his car. It was a small transistor radio that was zeroed in on the British Broadcasting Network. What I'm trying to say is that mass media plus the development of transportation make it impossible for us to think of ourselves in terms of separate entities as nations. So this was in the 70s, early 70s, late 60s. And he's saying that back then, not 2025, back then with the mass media and all these things that was going on, like it was changing everything. Because it was bringing Europe right to Africa, and that dude was walking around with a little transistor radio listening to BBC over there. See, but there's a reverse to that. There's a reverse to that because we can also use that too. American imperialism is declining and is declining fast. It's declining by the day, and by and large, it's social media. It's the same technology that they use to oppress us that is letting people see what is really going on in real time all around the world. People live better than us in China. People got to see that. People didn't know that. People didn't know people in China wasn't pay. Like over here, you get a car, right? You pay for the car. You gotta pay for registration. You gotta pay for insurance. You gotta pay for all these different things. Over there, you just buy your car. You bought a car. You go around the world, people buy a house. You don't have to go keep paying mortgage, paying whatever for the rest of your life till you die. You get a house, you build a house, that's your family's house. That's how it is around the world. Only here. Only here where you buy a house, you got to pay mortgage. Then you know what? They get tired of you. They want to take your house. What they call it, some domain or some eminent domain or something like that. They come and take your house right from you. That's how they move here. I mean, but people, because of social media, because of all these different things, technology, people are starting to talk in real time. So you can't keep lying to people. And people are losing faith in the system. Mm. Do you realize that it only took me approximately 5 hours to get from San Francisco to here? It only takes 10 hours to get from here to Vietnam. The ruling circle no longer even acknowledges wars. They call them police actions. They call the riots of the Vietnamese people domestic disturbance. What I'm saying is that the ruling circle must realize and accept the consequences of what they have done. They know that there is only one world, but they are determined to follow the logic of their exploitation. A short time ago in Detroit, the community was under siege, and now 16 members of the party are in prison. The local police laid siege on that community and that house, and they use the same weapons they use in Vietnam. The same thing happens in Vietnam because the police are there also. The police are everywhere, and they all wear the same uniform and use the same tools and have the same purpose, the protection of the ruling circle here in North America. It is true that the world is one community, but we are not satisfied with the concentration of its power. We want the power for the people. Yo, the police everywhere. So if you don't know, you know now. Yo, the Black Panther Party don't fuck with the police. We don't fuck with the police. I don't give a fuck if it's your brother. I don't care if it's your sister. I don't care if it's your mother, your father. We don't fuck with the police. I mean, like, it's period. The police are here to protect the rich, to protect corporations. They're not here to protect the people.
Sorry to interrupt, Chairman, but this Black Panther group don't fuck with the police. You may meet some others out there that are like doing security for politicians. We don't consider them Panthers, but this Panther group don't fuck with the police.
They're frauds. No. Like, no, the Black Panther Party, the original Black Panther Party, how the Black Panther Party was constituted, what the Black Panther stand for. Yo, the Black Panther Party originally was Black Panther Party for what? Self-defense. Against who? The police. I mean, so even if you're a Panther now, like Sharif Imhotep, whatever his name is, and you run around with the mayor as his security, you doing security for the mayor, you're a fraud. You're not a Panther. You're not. You're a fraud. You're a hustler. You're a scammer. You're using Pantherism to give yourself credibility when you have none. I said earlier that the theory of the negation is valid. Some scholars have been wondering why in Asia, Africa, and Latin America, the resistance always seeks the goal of collective society. They seem not to institute the economy of the capitalists. They seem to jump all the way from feudalism to a collective society. And some people can't understand why. Why wouldn't they follow historical Marxism or historical materialism? Why wouldn't they go from feudalism to the development of a capitalist base and finally to socialism? They don't do it because they can't do it. They don't do it for the same reason that the Black community in Harlem cannot develop capitalism, that the Black community in Oakland or San Francisco cannot develop capitalism, because the imperialists have already preempted the field. They have already centralized the wealth. Therefore, in order to deal with them, all we can do is liberate our community and then move them as a collective force. That's what I was just talking about. Like, you can't compete with Elon Musk. You can't compete with these people. They've already sold this up. They got the game already sold up. The only way to challenge them is as a unit, as an organized mass base. We've had long arguments with people about our convictions. Before we became conscious, we used to call ourselves a dispersed collection of colonies here in North America. And people argue with me all day and all night, asking, how can you possibly be a colony? In order to be a colony, you have to have a nation. And you're not a nation. You're a community. You're a dispersed collection of communities because the Black Panther Party is not embarrassed to change or admit error. Tonight, I would like to accept the criticism and say that those critics were absolutely right. We are a collection of communities, just as the Korean people, the Vietnamese people, the Chinese people are a collection of communities, a dispersed collection of communities, because we have no superstructure of our own. The superstructure we have is the superstructure of Wall Street. Hold it right there with Wall Street. What do you mean by that is we have no institutions of our own. We have no schools of our own. Yo, every day if you send your kids to these public schools, you send them to their schools for them to brainwash them. And then you're going to wait 20, 30 years to try to undo all that brainwashing they already did. He's saying we have nothing because we have no institutions. We have no institutions of our own. Like I said, late 60s, early 70s. Yeah, we're in 2025. Why don't we still have institutions? Because our middle class, the managerial people have been convincing all of us that our only hope is to believe in these institutions that don't serve us. So we stuck where we at. Just keep like muddling in the mud. We in the same spot. Just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and getting the same results. Voting for the same politicians over and over and over and over and over, getting the same thing. Which all of our labor produce. This is a distorted form of collectivity. Everything's been collected, but is used exclusively in the interest of the ruling circle. This is why the Black Panther Party denounces black capitalism. I'm going to read that again if you don't understand what I'm saying. This is why the Black Panther Party denounces black capitalism. Like if you want to go get your own business, you want to go join the capitalist class to be a capitalist, y'all, we ain't off that. The Black Panther Party is not off you going to get your own thing. We not supporting you going to go get your own business. That's your business. That's not a black business. That's not a community business. That doesn't belong to the Panthers. It belongs to you. But if you have an organization, a cooperative, where the people in that community are invested in that cooperative and is serving all the people in that community, whether they be black, whatever, then you have a people's organization. It belongs to the people. And watch how the people go in there in that establishment and keep it wealthy and keep it running and support it because they belong to it. Yo, if we have a McDonald's or whatever, if we had a burger joint, if we have anything, why would I go to any other burger joint? It makes no sense to me at all. So if your institution is rooted in the people will entertain that institution. This is why the Black man denounces black capitalism and says that all we
One
can
second,
see,
Chairman. 1 second. This is the last sentence of the PowerPoint, and then
which
you can go
one?
back. The sentence you're reading. That's the last sentence of the speech being
where is it
covered.
at? Where's it
The
started?
black capitalism. This is why the Black Panther Party denounces black capitalism.
That's it. That's it of the
Finish the sentence. Finish it until.
All right, go ahead, you finish it. You read it. See, read
This is why the Black Panther Party denounces black capitalism. It says that all we can do is liberate our community, not only in Vietnam, but here, not only in Cambodia, in the People's Republic of China, in Korea, but the communities of the world.
All power to the people. And that's what we aim to do. That's what we do here. We're looking to build communities, to build institutions in our communities to serve us. Period. I mean, so if anybody, like, you got it mixed up in your mind like that, yo, we not looking to ask nobody to do nothing. I'm not going to beg nobody. I'm not going to talk to nobody. I'm not going to ask nobody for anything. Anything that we're going to do it ourselves. That's it. Go, you got it. Hey, how you doing, House? Talk to me, House. Take the mute off.
Yo.
Hey, House, you was here the whole time?
No. I just tuned in.
We talked about intercommunalism and metaphysical idealism. Those are big words. But you said you just came in. So this is on the test. You already passed the test already. But for anybody that's here that didn't hear it, Dialectic materialism is using science and evidence to reach an analysis. Metaphysical idealism, metaphysical, that means using religion, uses your religious teachings to be able to reach an analysis. I mean, so those are the two different kind of ideologies that we talked about. And we say as Panthers, we use the scientific one. We go off science. We don't use religion. This debate was between this guy right here, the what's his name? Debate Roland Martin. What's his name? I don't even know his name. His name don't matter. He's just a cover for reactionary Republicans or whatever, rich people. That's what he's there for. And Roland Martin is the quintessential managerial Negro. That's what he is. And I'm about to put this on the first clip. This is our last thing we're doing, and we're done. The first clip is about 3 minutes long. They're gonna go through it. You're gonna hear what they're talking about. Let me see what time it is. 8:30. We've been here for an hour. We almost done. But because like I'm playing this because it ties everything together.
Donald Trump cares about power. He doesn't care about you.
I don't care what Donald Trump.
Josh Gottheimer's the Democrat ready to stand up to Trump and lower costs. He'll cut property taxes, lower costs for renters, and cut taxes for seniors.
I'm the only candidate for governor with a detailed plan to cut your taxes. I'll get it done.
I chose Wix for my business because of its massive scope for functionality and freedom.
27 out of top 30 cities in America in crime ran by Democrats. Why?
All right, now look. That's I told you he's a reactionary, he's a Republican. That's what they always say. 27 out of 30 whatever communities or whatever ran by Democrats. They lead the country in high crime. That's what he's saying to Roland. And he said telling them why. And let's hear Roland answer.
Will tell you. First of all, it's where African Americans are living. So let's bring up Chicago in particular. What you have had in Chicago is you've had some of the greatest racial segregation, not in 20 years, not in 30 years, but literally in 100 plus years.
Led by Democrats.
No, hold on. Here's the deal though. Okay, I will show you how Mississippi has the law.
You notice how I keep saying that? Led by Democrats. Led by Democrats. You notice what Roland is doing? Roland is trying to sidestep that. He doesn't want to answer why those communities are that poor. Roland's answer is racism. The answer to him is racism. He hasn't said nothing about class. It's racism. Keep listening.
Largest percentage of black people in America, run by Republicans, broke as hell. Explain that. Explain me the highest. Tell me when you have. Hold on. Wait.
Don't spin.
No, I'm not spinning.
No, don't change.
No. What I'm
Let's
showing
stay
you.
on top.
You can't have a conversation with people like this. Like this Republican right here, he called himself an independent, but he's a Republican. He's a rich person, and his politics are rich. He's an imperialist. He doesn't care about nobody. He doesn't care about nothing but himself. And he's not even trying to listen, to be sincere, to make an argument about anything. He knows nothing. He's a complete fool. Yo, this dude right here is a complete fool. Yo, mute yourself. But this dude right here that we're looking at is a complete fool. The arguments is make no sense. So now that Roland is refuting what he's saying, all he's gonna say is like stick to the top. You're trying to spin. You're not trying to spin. I mean, but you just an idiot. You didn't do your work before you came here.
Topic.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on.
Let's stay on topic.
We're
the
on
topic is crime 27 out of 30, not economic. Economic is a different story.
No, it's not.
But I agree with you that we need to get the financial situation.
No.
Economics is not part of the story. That's what he just said. Economics is not part of the story why these communities are poor. They don't want to talk about the class thing. Economics is not the problem. But then he say, but I agree with you. How you agree? But you just say economics is not the problem. But now you agree that economics is the problem because you really don't have nothing to say. You have no philosophy. You just did to spout talking points.
No. And you're making the mistake.
You went to Mississippi. No, you're making the mistake.
No. Here's the mistake you're making.
27 out of 30.
Here's the mistake you're making. When you say crime, I just obliterated a black conservative in my show on this whole issue. When you say crime, you have to then say, okay, what creates crime? No, what creates crime? What creates crime?
When people are not doing well financially.
What else?
your surrounding and environment, who you're around.
No, what else?
Pick up habits.
What else?
Bad policies.
No. What else? See, See, you're jumping to policies.
But it is bad.
Why doesn't Roland want to talk about the policies? Why doesn't Roland, if you allow all the homes to be taken by banks, if you write policies that give people homes away, people don't get paid enough, people got to work 2-3 jobs to be able to survive, how are you going to say policies not involved? See, but Roland is a crook and a hustler himself. He works for the Democratic Party. He might as well be a Democrat. He's an imperialist himself. So he doesn't want to take accountability. He don't want to hold those politicians that give him money. Politicians like Hillary Clinton, like Kamala Harris, like all these top politicians in the country, they fund him. They put money in his bank account for him to go on his show and lie and tell people to go vote and support politicians that have never done anything for them. That's what Roland Martin is. He's a hustler. He's a poverty hustler. Useless. A coward. But these are the people that they prop up. Roland Martin.
Policies. Wait a minute.
No.
If I lead a company, Roland,
the underpinning. Hold on, wait.
If I run a company and I'm the CEO of the company,
you see how he grinning? He like, this dude is a dummy. That's what he thinking in his head now. Like, ooh, this is gonna be an easy debate. This guy's a dummy. He's not even going to challenge me, and he is a dummy.
If the company improves or doesn't improve is based on my policies. I'm the head running the company, the department. If it doesn't improve, it's because of me.
So let me.
What else would it be?
So let me lay it out to you again.
Go for it.
When you talk about what is the underpinning of crime, John Hope Bryant, founder of Operation Hope, this is what he said.
John O'Brien is a scammer too. These people built no institutions in the community. They're all scammers. They haven't done nothing to help anybody, to serve anybody in our community. Only themselves, people in their class. And this is who he's quoting, John Hope Bryant. Like, who are you trying to impress?
He said, show me a community where you've seen a riot with a credit score 700 or higher. The reality is, when you talk about crime in this country, you're talking about economic.
That's nothing, like, that's not nothing genius. You just said it already. The crime is where poor people are because they're starving. That's why they need to commit those social ills. It's not even crime. Those are social ills. The real crime is committed by the oligarchs, the people that steal from people, that refuse to pay people what they're worth. Those are the real criminals. But they never talk about that as crime. They don't even talk about that. I mean, Roland Martin is a criminal. This dude is a criminal.
Economics, you're talking about education, you're talking about housing, you're talking about health. Mm-hmm. Show me areas where you do not have high crime. I'm going to show you areas that don't have the same, aren't as compacted. That's first. What you have is, when you talk about crime.
Now, you haven't heard neither one of them say anything about class, but I'm going to stop it right there. Because, like, they're going back saying the same thing. Like, when you have crime, it's in the poor community, but they're not saying nothing about class. And he's dodging the policies. He's dodging because he's taking up for the politicians. Let me go. This is the last part I want to play right here for the day. We done.
Get the move, but we can't move.
But if you act like
black and broke, you will literally live in the same neighborhood. After Jim Crow ends with integration, what then happened? And what I'm saying is, when I look at communities, that's not micro, that's macro. Even within the African American community, when you dealt with Jim Crow, you couldn't live anywhere else. You literally could not live anywhere else. Bottom line is, if you were black and had money, and then you were black and broke, you were literally living in the same neighborhood.
You heard him? This was before Jim Crow. If you was black and you had money, and if you was black and you had no money, both of them lived in the same community. And after Jim Crow, the black people with money left. So all that argument he making about caring about people in our communities, caring about me, caring about you, all of you that live in these communities that's messed up, he said he cares so much. You'll listen to the argument he makes now, because you know what that white boy gonna ask him? The white boy gonna ask him, why you ain't stay in those communities, and build them up? You see, that's what all other people do. Black people are the only people that segregate themselves from their own people. Black people. Listen to the argument he makes.
After after Jim Crow ends with integration, what then happened? Those African Americans who were middle class, upper middle class, began to move away. What then began to happen was you had areas where poverty increased even more so.
Why move away though? Why move away?
Because
if you care,
you heard him? Why move away? He said after all those black middle class people, the managerial black people, after they moved away, everything became worse. The poverty grew. They took away the brain drain. They took all the best out of the community out of there. And then they turn around and they tell those people in the hood, yo, don't buy no Jordans. There wasn't no Jordans back then. It's your fault because you wear Jordans, you wear Timberlands. You got an iPhone. It's your fault that you living in the hood. Even though they understood, they took all the resources, everything out, took the whole brain drain out. You see, that's why with the new African Black Panther Party, other people could do what they want to do. Other Panther organizers could do what they want to do. There's no negotiation with middle-class black people on anything. There's no need to sit down and talk to them. They're not coming back to do anything for us. The only thing they come back to do is to use us to go support people that will put money in their bank accounts. They don't care about us. Keeping it a buck with you. Keeping it a buck. The people cannot make no deals. You cannot make no deals with middle-class black people, by and large. I'm not talking about everybody. Because in the history of the world, you've had people commit class suicide. Class suicide. So you know how rare that is for somebody in that class to come down and come work with the people on the plantation. It never happens. They never commit class suicide. But Che Guevara, when you hear about Che Guevara, when people talk about Che Guevara, when I think about class suicide, that's the first name that pop up in my mind. Give up everything. He was a doctor. Give up everything to go in the jungles fighting to liberate people. But listen to this Negro right here. Listen to this Negro. They moved out. He asked him, why you moved out? We can't move? We can't move too? Like, that's his answer. But it's because it's an Uncle Tom. Because he's a sellout. And they don't give a damn about our people. You
care about the community. Why not stay there and change it?
Well, first of all, does anybody else move?
What do you mean?
Who the hell else don't move? How do you think suburbs were created?
But wait a minute.
What do you mean? How do you think white flight was created? So everybody else get to move, but we can't move?
But if you act like you care about the community as much as you do, stay there.
But hold on, but I'll answer your question. Do you know why? Because when African Americans were living in black neighborhoods, they also had economically depressed housing values, and the reality is they were not able to
change it. Help change it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I am. I am.
Okay, hold on.
I'll give you an idea.
Here's
Are you?
So he told him, change it. So when I tell you we're going to buy our buildings, I don't care what the government say our building is worth. Because we're not getting rid of them. We're keeping them. We're not trying to sell them to nobody. So he's saying when the rich black people and the poor black people live together in the same community, because they were all in the same community, the white government, the white realtors didn't, put their house on the market, the value it was worth. That's what he's saying. So because of that, they had to leave because they didn't want to deal with all that oppression in our communities. So they bought their golden ticket out. What's their golden ticket? Shoe shuffling, selling out, telling our people America's a democracy, telling our people to go march, telling our people to go vote, telling our people all this idiotic nonsense that had proven to do nothing for anybody. That's what they pushed on the people for them to get tickets into the suburbs. They made movies, made music, blaming the people for the hell they were catching. And they all knew that people were put in place the right policies to make laws that kept us in our ghettos. They're worse than the KKK. These black people right here, people like Roland Martin, Obama, Michelle Obama, who was the one that just ran? Kamala, not Kamala. Her name is not spelled no damn Kamala. Her name is spelled K-A-M-A. Kamala. Now, I know how to sound. Now, I know how to sound out my words. That's how her name was spelled. If I saw that name on a piece of paper, it said Kamala. But they're going to try to gaslight me and tell me I'm not seeing what I see. All these people, they're useless. These are traitors to our people. And he admitting it in this fake argument he having with this fake other Republican. Both of them stupid as hell, but they get it off They get it off on people that don't know no better. Let me see if you got a little bit more.
Familiar with Palmdale?
I'm gonna need you to be drug tested. Seriously.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Do you even know today we've done the stories in Florida when somebody's black selling their.
So that's how they changed it, by doing stories about it. That's how they changed it. The first book we read here was Miseducation of a Negro. What they call it, G. Woodson say about that? That you got people that just talk, but they put nothing, build nothing, show nothing. That's what he's doing. We did this. We talked about this. You didn't do anything. You've built nothing. You have built nothing. You are Uncle Tom House Negro. And you've been trying to get the people to stay on the plantation your whole entire life. That's what Roland Martin's been doing. You see, but Roland Martin won't come and talk to me. He would never come talk to me because he don't feel like he needs to speak to me because the people that pay him is the oligarchs. The way you deal with people like Roland Martin, he can't come amongst us no more. Any community he go to, he's supposed to be booed and jailed and shared out of there. People are supposed to tell him you're a traitor everywhere they go. Yo, what you call it? Social pressure. Social pressure and exposing them is huge. When you expose them, when they come in our communities and the people know that they're frauds and call them out for what they are, because they know when Roland Martin goes in his bed and he sleeps in his bed at night, he knows he's a fraud and a sellout. Before he goes anywhere, he knows he's a fraud and a sellout. But usually they go places where all of them are frauds and sellouts. So they just go in, I mean, he's comfortable in there. Like when he went to do this interview, he's comfortable because this dude is an idiot. He's talking to somebody that's stupid, that's not able to challenge him. Like, don't you think you're a sellout for leaving your people in the hood? That's what I would have asked them. How are the people supposed to climb out of there? Then I would have quoted Du Bois. And I would have quoted what Du Bois said. Until our rich understand that it is their duties to build institutions for their people, we're never going to climb out of our out of the hell that we catching. That's what Du Bois said. That's what Du Bois wrote, I think, in the 30s, in the 20s. I like Du Bois, but I disagree with him. We don't need these sons of bitches. We don't need them at all. Fuck them. Fuck Roland. Bitch, fuck you, Roland. We don't need you. They could all go. Don't come back. Don't come back asking for votes. Stay the fuck out. And we organize our communities to buy up stuff. And then when Roland Martin come in here, all of us are telling Roland Martin to get the fuck out. That's how you deal with these people. There is no negotiating with any of them, with any black elites. There's no negotiating with no black celebrities. There's no, fuck Kyrie. Fuck all of them. They don't give a damn about you. We're the institutions in our community, bro. We're the institutions. If you believe that these people are going to do anything for you, you might as well pick a religion and believe your savior, your God is in the sky somewhere. Because that's not what we do here. We don't do religion. We do dialectic materialism. We look at things for how they are. If the people in the community, the smartest people, the people with the most resources, the people that are able to build up the community, if they leave and abandon the community, they're traitors. They're traitors. I know we've been taught that our whole lives growing up, that our duty is to go to school, learn, and move out the hood. That's what they've been telling us our whole life, even though most of us ain't going to be able to move out. According to the numbers, 99% of us stay here. We born here, we die here. So you're not going nowhere. So all that stuff they tell you in school, go to school, get an education, and move out, you got the worst schools. These schools ain't letting you in because they're racist. These universities. I mean, and I know people thinking like, yo, it's a lot of people going to Yale, they're going to all this Ivy League. No, they're not. 99% of them is rich people. The average person that's born in Newark, that grew up in Newark, is not going to these schools. Only probably 1%, of less than 1%, go to these Ivy League schools. And that's how you get connections to be able to move up in this corrupt system. Roland Martin is a fraud and a traitor. All the people like him, the electoral process is a hustle. Going to go vote for these candidates, all of this stuff. Yo, that is not politics. Politics is the struggle for resources. If we organize and we start putting resources in our community, we take power. Money is not power. You can have all the money in the world, you still don't have power. You still dragged around. Like you think like Jay-Z, Beyonce, these people got power. They don't have no power. Whatever these people tell them to do, they do. Yo, Beyonce didn't want to go shake her butt for Kamala Harris. She don't want to do none of that stuff. They know she know Kamala a fraud. She know her own fans gonna hate her for going. But she gotta go. When they call you, you gotta get up and go. Or you lose everything. That's why they get high. That's why they kill themselves with all them drugs. Because they all know they're frauds. All of them. All celebrities. There's no good celebrity. None. Anybody want to put their mic on and tell me a good celebrity? None. These are easy one. I mean, somebody try to find a good celebrity. What?
No, I'm not on the mic to talk about any good celebrities. I'm on the mic to tell the people when these celebrities come through, like Queen Latifah, that built that building on South, what is it? Orange.
Wherever it's at, go ahead.
That nobody can afford, where studios are starting at $2,000. When she comes to town to the 24 hours of peace, y'all need to throw tomatoes at her.
Yeah. The whole crowd should be there booing her. That's what, but you see, but like the people have been conditioned to not know any better. So they go out there, she up there laughing, they done paid her millions of dollars. She done got contracts to come in there and steal from the city. But you standing up there like, because she says she from Newark. I don't know any of her songs. I never knew any of her songs. She always been whack to me. Queen Latifah always been whack. I never liked her music. She always seemed phony from the beginning. They all whack. Keeping it a buck. Who know Queen Latifah's song? Sing the whole song. Hit me with the whole song.
I can't sing this old song, but UNITY.
All right, well, that's all you know. That's all you know. That shit was ass soup. That's all you know. UNITY. UNITY. That's a something. That's all you know. Mama, you know UNITY? Take an hour to unmute because she's not even listening.
I just think it's like really sad how they have our people socialized to like just idolize these celebrities. Like when they invite all these celebrities to the 24 hours of peace, and like even if we did organize something where a group of us or enough of us went there and booed them, there would be people in the crowd like, y'all ruined it for us. Why are y'all ruining this moment? Like people actually are in love with these celebrities, even though you can explain to them they're not doing anything to help us. They're building, they're gentrifying in your own community, and they just don't even care. Like as long as they're like dogs, like if you're waving a little piece of steak in front of a dog, like they'll have their tongue out, happy, excited. Like it's just so like mind-boggling how socialized and like lost we are as a community.
Yo, well said. Yo, well said. We're gonna wrap it on for today. We're gonna wrap it right there. Yo, anybody want to add anything before we end it? But yo, this is week 6. Tomorrow. Next Wednesday, I'm gonna give a summary of what we've been doing. On week 7, I'm gonna give a summary like to help you for the test on the 13th. But as soon as you pass the test, yo, those of you that are here, yo, we need you to get on the ground and get going. Is she here, General Secretary?
My girl Cam, yes she is.
What up? Hey Cam, we've been talking about you, Cam.
Yeah, what's up?
Nah, you the #1 draft pick, yo. You got to come to the classes, man. Because when you get up, man, we looking for some work out of you. You heard?
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry I missed last week, but I'm gonna try to make it every Wednesday from here on out.
All power to the people. All power to the people. Nah, because we got things already going, man. We got a lot of titles that haven't been taken yet. It's a lot of work that needs to be done. I mean, that people gotta claim these titles, but we're not just giving them out. You gotta do the work and show and prove. But look, this is, to me, all of us work. I'm sure everybody here work. Everybody got a long day. People going to school. But this is the favorite time, my favorite times of the week, man. When I come here and I get to speak to people that are trying to change the world, trying to change the conditions outside. I'd rather not be anywhere else. Nowhere else. When I finish with this, I'm about to go get ready, and we about to take it down and start the day all over again. I mean, but I'll make sure I come here because I love the people here, man. All power to the people. I live for the people. I die for the people. See everybody next week.